Doordarshan, India's public service broadcaster, presents stories and documentaries from Goa, celebrating legends and legacies from India's beautiful state, where East meets the West, with art and culture at its best.
As the sun rises in Panjim, the capital city of Goa, join me on a journey to unravel one of India's greatest footballers of all time, Brahmanand Sankhwalkar. The fact that he played his first game at the age of just 15, that too in oversized boots, led me to the title of this story, famously found at 15.
He was born in a sports-loving family whose biggest obsession was football. He grew up in the football-crazy village of Talegaon, close to the capital city of Panjim.
Big memorable moments for me right from my childhood. We had a Balkan, there was a football. Every time I got attracted to football, father was playing football and my brothers were good footballers. Almost all of them, I'm the youngest. Out of all 7 were playing football. Near the church, just for the sake of football, they would enjoy, and I took it more seriously, and other 3 brothers also took very seriously about the football. Lunch, tea time in the morning, go back to school, coming back, almost every time the talk was of football, especially in the night after dinner. You would sit and analyze the games. Whether it's a blame on me or not, when I was playing bigger level, when we were small also, we were discussing about the other goalkeepers of Goa and India. I know it was all totally a sporting environment in the house. That gave me a big plus point in the family.
He was gifted his first football by his father, Sagun Kamoti Sankhwalkar, who was his biggest motivator.
These they were good nasal alpha. Goalkeeper Kela, not mine. It's gained from my father.
As we grew up, father brought us a small ball wherever he had to go. Maybe he had gone to Karachi and then maybe in Bombay. Those days they required a passport to go to Bombay, and that's what the joy was with us here.
In his younger days, his brother Vallabh, a top football player himself, helped him get the first break, while another brother Ramesh shaped him.
Yes, it was especially on Sundays and any holidays. And the goalpost for the 2 coconut trees, exact, only nothing was tied above my head. But shooting was taken place from my house side towards me, and there were powerful shots were taken on me. My eldest brother was, Gurudas was telling Vallabh, why are you hitting so hard for the young boy? He'll break his hands. Guru gave the technique to Vallabh, don't blast here, blast on your field, but here, Brahmanand, you go gradually. And then he was demonstrating them how to kick the ball so that I can gradually build up my gripping. No gloves on those days, gripping practices.
While a family friend and football enthusiast, Dr. Remigio Pinto was the first to predict his future, well-known sports administrator Antonio Botelho gave him his first break. In fact, it was right here in front of the school on a busy city street in Panjim that Brahmanand signed his first contract as a 15-year-old schoolboy. And the rest, as they say, is footballing history.
One day when I was playing there among the big boys, doctor commented, "Oh, who is this guy? Whose family?" Then I know he's commenting on me, but when the game was over, the doctor said, the only place for you to grow up is goalpost. He would give me some bit of guidance of gripping, holding the ball, some positioning, stance, and give me some light divings, and that was doctor. And especially on Sundays, he would read Saturday Night A Bola, weekend magazine was coming from Portugal for him. He would show me the goalkeeper's pictures, and that was written in Portuguese. He said, your brother will explain to you. But in the meantime, the picture can speak for yourself. You understand what is this, angle marking and other things.
We had a friendly match to be played in Talegaon on the 1st of January 1970. And both my goalkeepers, Sankhwalkar and Ullas Shetty, had said they could not make it. So I was without a goalkeeper. So I was desperately looking for a goalkeeper. And in the process of contacting all our other players, I used to cycle my way to the houses of the different players. I'd gone to Sankhwalkar, who was a striker with us, to ask him to join the team. So he said he couldn't, he was also busy. I said, I begged of him to come because I said, I don't even have a goalkeeper. So at which he said, why don't you take my brother? He plays as a goalkeeper. So I said, okay, send him.
It was one afternoon around 1:30. My brother came home and told me, you have to go to Saligaon to play. I was just shocked. What is he telling me? I said, me? He said, yes, you can go because Botello told me to send a goalkeeper. And I think my brother forgot. The goalkeeper was not available. So, no, you take your boots. I said, Vallabh, I don't have my boots. Nothing I got. How should I go? And Vallabh said, take my boots. You are not playing? No, you are playing today. He gave me his boots. I took his socks. I tried my boots. It was not going perfectly. It was loose. I put the paper balls inside and all, made myself fit. And with the poti, put the boots inside. School pant and a school shirt. I went to Panjim near Mandovi Hotel, the place where we were supposed to meet.
We used to get together at the Nilam restaurant to cross in the ferry and then go to Saligaon. Suddenly this kid in shorts came up to me with a package in newspaper wrap, asking me, are you Botello? So he said, Vallabh has sent me. So I said, okay, get here now.
When I met Botello sarcastically saw me from top to bottom, bottom to top again and said, no, Vallabh was to send a goalkeeper. No, he sent me, I said. He was stuck. He said, yes, you come. He didn't discourage me. He said, come. I started warming up with my blue jersey. And there was a debate that how Brahmanand is going to stand in the goal. Luckily that time our first goalkeeper arrived quite late and he entered and played the first half.
The Ullas Shetty turned up for the match. So I played him in the first half. In the second half, since Brahmanand had come, I played him. And he was quite safe. He didn't allow in any goals.
And Botello in the second half suddenly came to me, second half. Can you be able to? I said, yes, Botello, it is possible with me.
But after the match, when Ullas again told me that he was not going to be able to come for the league matches because of studies, next day I had to give it a think over and then I decided to sign Brahmanand. So I went to ask him. It turned out he was studying in Progress High School. I sent a peon to call him. And I realized that he was under 16. Now, under the GFA rules then at that time, under 16 you needed the father's permission, the parents' or guardian's permission to play.
After the game, Botello told me, are you free coming Sunday? I said, yes. Where to play? He said, Kanduli. I said, I'm there. And that was the turning point. One. And there, after going there, Botello got more confident because I played the second half again against Cesar's top players were playing. They are from Kandoli and Kalangut area. And they were playing against me there. I still won the game, Panvel, 3-1. I stood in the goal in the second half. Father Shiko, a great enthusiast, motivator, a mentor, a coach to the footballers in Goa, especially Kandoli belt. Father Shiko was the brother of Dr. Gustavo Munter, who was one of the president of GFA during those days. And he picked me up. I was sitting over there. He asked my name, asked my father's name, so he knew my father. Took me to Botello, gave me another loaf of bread with prawns, and he said, Botello, he said in Portuguese, Guardarei da futuro. He's the future goalkeeper. Sign him, sign him, sign him. Botello said, okay.
Now, fortunately, his father was the treasurer of Panvel. So I knew I could get that for him. So I went to him. I didn't have a photograph. So I went with his forms to submit to the GFA, where I was told he had already signed for Taligaon, but Taligaon had not taken the card. So I had no choice but take the photographer to the school and take a photograph of Brahmanand and submit it there and then. And then I used the argument with the GFA that since they don't want, Taligaon doesn't want him, otherwise they would have taken the card. So I'll take him.
Next day, Botello comes to my school, drags me out of the class. Pune comes and tells the teacher Brahmanand is wanted down, and I signed standing on the road for Mr. Botello's form because Botello had to take a permission on the letter because I was minor. Botello went to my father, got it signed. 2:30 my card was ready, and that's how my journey started in football.
Brahmanand was a natural at his game and began his career with Panvel Sports Club, with whom he first tasted major success when they won the Bandodkar Gold Trophy in 1974.
Winning this Bandodkar Gold Trophy for an amateur club like Panvel, having all players who are very eager to establish in the football world of Goa. So it was very difficult because we had to play against some tough teams who were run by corporates. And we were determined because we had very good set of players, and we knew that with a team effort we could win the Bandodkar Gold Trophy. And I was lucky to score in the finals and also in the semi-finals. So, and we played against Dempos, we played against Orkes, we played against Sazagoa, who were the top contenders for the Bandodkar Gold Trophy.
I do remember Francis' goal in the Gold Trophy finals, in the first half of the finals. He looped the ball over the goalkeeper's head. The goalkeeper was coming, rushing out, and he saw him coming out, and he just looped the ball over him into the goal. And the second goal was scored by Alex Miranda. But of all the goals I saw in the Gold Trophy, the one goal that Dionis Trindad scored against Orke in the semi-finals is a goal I'll never see again, probably not even at international level. It was a freak goal, I would say. The ball was coming, bouncing from the deep end towards the middle, and Dionis just let fly with his left footer. Strong foot is the right, but he used the left, and the ball just went in under the bar.
I remember that particular final, and what stood out was the save that he made. It was so stylish. That's what puts him apart. He was a natural with style. Panvel was like a side that nobody would have thought. They were all youngsters. It was not a side that belonged to some heavy business people or whatever, but the passion with which they played brought them the trophy.
Until when I reached the finals, I saw the Gold Cup on the table. And somebody said, Brahmanand, hold the cup. I said, no. If God willing, yes for me, I will hold the cup after the game. After the match only, I was so satisfied. That was the biggest moment for me. I was just around 18 and a half or something like that when we won the cup.
They were all youngsters, basically. Rosario Rodriguez was a stopper back. Then we had Titus Fernandez, who unfortunately passed away. We had Alex Miranda, we had Francis de Souza, Dionis Trindad, and of course Brahmanand. For us, the finals was against Orke, the defending champions. The semi-finals they played was against us, and we beat them over 2 legs, 2-1, 1-1. In the finals, we beat Sazagoa easily. We could have done it more than that, actually. The Sazagoa managing director, Commodore Ferrari, he came to wish me. He said, I never expected your team to play so well, and we deserve to lose today, he said. It's something which will never be replicated because it was a team of amateurs.
He played for Panvel for 4 years. Obviously, Salgaonkar and Dempo were the two of the biggest names at that time, along with Sazagoa. And when Salgaonkar made an offer to him, he just couldn't say no. Brahmanand knew that it was time for him to move to a bigger club. And obviously the bigger club at that time was Sankhwalkar Sports Club.
Sankhwalkar has come up with some memorable performances for his clubs, primarily for Salgaonkar Sports Club, with whom he won almost all the possible trophies in India.
I think he was one of the most disciplined players we've ever had. He was regular at practices, despite the fact that he had to come from Panjim.
So many people, didn't call him Brahmanand Sankhwalkar. They called him Brahmanand Salgaonkar. And that was so much closeness that it was synonymous that Brahmanand with Salgaonkar.
The call came to me in the right time when Salgaonkar needed a goalkeeper. And I enjoyed my freedom in Salgaonkar for so many years. But gradually I came to know the more longer the team remains together, team grows together well. And that helps Salgaonkar. I'm very happy we came under them, winning so many trophies nationally and twice to represent the country as the champion club of India. That was the biggest thing for Salgaonkar and for me individually.
When he joined Salgaonkar Sports Club, he literally set sail into a career that would take him around the country and win numerous awards and trophies like the Sait Nagji, the Stafford Cup, the Rovers Cup, and the greatest of them all, the Federation Cup. And the crowning glory in his career came when he captained Salgaonkars to become the champion club of India.
I think the very first year, that 1987, we played in the hottest conditions at 2 o'clock. And that, now I don't say losing because of the heat. We were all dried out in the first half. The second half we couldn't make it up, and we lost to Mohun Bagan 2-0. They played a walking football sort of on that day. I still remember, and we were wanted to score goals and we were pegged out. We didn't use the strategy properly. And 88 was in Delhi, was one of the finest moments because we beat East Bengal in the tiebreaker, drawing with them 2-2 earlier. And it was really great moment for me. That was the first year we could hold a cup.
The spirit of the team was very high, and we played under the great coach Shamugam. He is the one who brought the team to that level, and we had great players like Brahmanand, Arnold, Zuse, and Mario, who scored a goal. And yes, we used to sometimes play in the morning, and the next day morning it was continuous, and we as a team stayed together and we fought to get the Federation Cup for the first time.
The first Federation Cup when they won in Delhi, again Brahmanand was outstanding, and all the players. That was also a very special moment.
Mario Suarez scored in 88. It was 1-against-1 situation with me and Darbara Singh, and I got the ball diving at his feet. Immediately put the ball to Lawrence Gomes. Highly skillful player. He immediately put the ball to Valentin Ezugo on the wing. He crossed the ball to Mario. 10 minutes before the final, ball was in the BSF net and we were the winners. And the 1989 was another time when Salgaonkars lost 8 of the good players for MRF. And despite all this, we could come back and remember the contribution of Bruno, Bent Andrew, Derek, Norbert, Ignatius Dias. Leopold was with us as a manager. Things are all good for us.
To play for Salgaonkar Sports Club for 17 years and win the Federation Cup and all other national tournaments was actually an amazing achievement.
Most important, which was eluding me, was Rovers Cup. On my 17th year of Salgaonkars, that was a year we won the cup, that also without conceding a goal. And I was finally happy that I could hold the Rovers Cup for Salgaonkars.
Prior to the Federation Cup and later the National Football League, the Santosh Trophy was the most prestigious trophy in Indian football. In the 1983 edition, Goa fielded a dream team of that generation who showed grit and determination right through the tournament. They were led from the front by their captain, Brahmanand Sankhwalkar.
We had very good senior international footballers from Goa, like Nicolas Pereira, Rosario Rodriguez, Dada used to call him, Cristiano Almeida, Mahesh Lotlekar, Vasudev Chodankar, and then Mauricio Afonso, Arnold Rodriguez, Gokul Das Nagwekar, Dionis Trindade, Jose Fernandes, Baptiste Fernandes, and Camilo Gonçalves.
See, we always at the Goa Football Association believed that our team were strong enough to win the Santosh Trophy. We had an excellent performance when Goa hosted the Santosh Trophy in 1972, where we lost the tiebreaker to Bengal. Again, in 1978, when we reached the finals and we were unfortunately denied a victory. So every time we believed, though our performance sometimes did not match our potential. In 1983, we took a crucial decision of changing the coach. Though Mr. Ratnam had performed very well earlier, we thought a new face may produce results. And we selected Mr. Shanmugan as the coach.
I was in Calcutta for the semi-finals as well. I think Vilas Sardesai had come along with me. Michael Fernandez was the president. He also had come. So the first day we played well, but we couldn't win. So they said a replay the next day. The replay was, our team was exhausted. We were not used to playing in that humid heat of Calcutta 2 consecutive days. So basically it was us playing defensive football. But Brahmanand stood out there very much. And he stopped everything that they could fire at him.
The packed home crowd in Kolkata backed Bengal to the fullest, but Sankhwalkar stood tall. The end result? Match ends goalless.
Entire 20,000 crowd that time, Mohan Bagan ground was totally with Bengalis on that day.
The next day, March 6, 1983, happened to be Sankhwalkar's birthday. He had no time for any celebration. The Goa captain visited a temple in the morning and then prepared himself for the replay. Again, the powerful Bengal team with 10 international players threw everything at Sankhwalkar. But he remained unbeatable.
5th of March, when match was drawn, they replayed it on the 6th, which was luckily my birthday. And I was totally relaxed throughout. Win or lose, I said, let's give our best. The match went for the next 90 minutes on the 6th, again draw. So 15 minutes extra time, or 30 minutes was played, again a draw, and we were all set for tiebreaker. And Bengal officials came sportingly towards us and telling us that we have decided to hand over the trophy to Goa for the first 6 months, and the next 6 months for Bengal. Let us share the trophy, please take the trophy to Goa. And we were all set for the tiebreaker. And that was the biggest moment for me when I handled the cup on that day. When we landed in Goa, brother took all the way home to me, come. I said, but look, we have to meet the people. He said, no, I will tell you home.
Santosh Trophy, instead of going to Goa Football Association, it just came here in this house.
I was so happy when I handed over the cup to him, and that's the biggest gift.
After he became a household name in the world of Goan football, he majestically announced his arrival on the national scene with a glorious campaign in the 1983 edition of the Santosh Trophy. No goalkeeper in the history of Indian football had gone to Kolkata and returned without conceding a goal in the finals. That too, for 2 consecutive days. Brahmanand did just that, and along with his team, he proudly returned to Goa with the trophy, and Goans celebrated like never before, led by the then Chief Minister of Goa, Sri Pratap Singh Rane.
We had won the national championships. Goa had made headlines all over the world. That little Goa, who every child has always kicked the ball in the fields, even in paddy fields where after harvest we played football. And now Goans have made a name for themselves.
I was overwhelmed to hear the news of his winning. I was very happy to see him welcomed by most of the top leaders of Goa, and also the crowd supporting him, enjoying with him, and that was the most memorable day in my life.
Brahmanand was outstanding. To not concede a goal against Bengal, which had 9 out of 11 international players, and at their home ground was actually fascinating.
Santosh Trophy is special for Goans. There was a mammoth reception. The way to the airport, it was madness. Everywhere the team was stopped. I think it took more than 3 hours to travel from the airport to Panjim. When we reached the 4 pillars, there was a chief minister and very big crowd welcoming it. It was a unique experience, for me who traveled in the bus with the players.
Oh, when the motorcade came and we heard that they are going to be landing at the airport, I remember my brother and I, 3 of our friends, we hired Rajdut motorbikes. We didn't have money for petrol. That time petrol I think was around 5 rupees. But we somehow managed and we went. Now that was, for us a connection, because our dad was supposed to be going as the manager of that Goa Santosh Trophy team. But he couldn't because he was already having some issues with his heart. But my dad, he understood perfectly, because we've always been the sports guys, we've never stopped being sports people in our hearts.
And that was a joyous moment, unexpected. And I didn't know also that was a Panjim border. I said, what's happening here? He stopped people. He said, this is a border, this is Santa Cruz, this is Panjim. And that was the happiest moment for me. I still got the photographs with me. I'm happy about it, yeah.
That day the weather was bad and the plane was late. and we were eagerly waiting for their safe landing. And when they came, a lot of band and every follower, we all brought them to Panjim. And that was a great moment in my life also.
The next year in Chennai, Goa won the Santosh Trophy outright for the very first time. Coached by the man who saw tomorrow, T. Shanmugan, Goa played majestically throughout the tournament. But perhaps the most memorable moment for Goan football was when a super cross from Herbert San was headed into the goal by another Goan football legend, Camilo Gonçalves.
Shanmugam came to Goa in 1979 and he was a fatherly figure. After landing in Chennai, Shanmugam put me another pressure. Another pressure in the sense he said, Brahmanand, why are you boasting about we have won the cup? You have just shared between you and Bengal, and today this trophy we have to take it outright. Then I will call you winners. I won't call you winners. Now we have both winners, Bengal and Goa, but I will make you winners. I'll tell you that you are winners. I'll be happy that we are winners only after the final of the 1984 Nationals. His words were still very, very strong, motivating words. We became the champions with Camilo's header in the 39th minute of the second half, and the cup was ours. And the finals football was in my hands. I brought it home, still there. The move originated from my side. Derek Pereira was playing on the right back position, and I just laid the ball to Derek with my hands. Derek moved 2-3 steps ahead with the ball, pushed the ball accurately on the right side for Herbert San, who got past one player and just rushed with the ball and moved forward a little bit. And then he saw Camilo was moving into the box, and he just took a pause for a fraction of a second and crossed the ball to Camilo. Camilo headed the ball, and that's the end of it. And that's the greatest moment for me, because I said, at least came out with the cup without picking the ball from the net and giving to Sunderland to restart the game. That is the end of it. I really, really enjoyed myself.
We were like a family and we knew each other's game. We won the Santosh Trophy without conceding a single goal in the whole tournament. We had Maurice Alfonso, who went on to become India's captain. He was so young at the age of 20. We had Camilo Gonçalves. We could rely on every of those players because in every position we had very strong players.
Brahmanand picking up some beautiful saves in the victory against Kerala in 84 in Tamil Nadu. And I think it was Brahmanand's contribution to the team that led us ultimately to outright win the Santosh Trophy for Goa. And the joy was immense, not only in the dressing room, but even later on. I could see the grand welcome that the Goans had prepared for us in the motorcade that went in the city. It was a moment for us to cherish, and it will always be cherished for a very long, long time.
83 showed us that we can. 84, we did it. And after that, what followed is it helped us to, sort of dream. We could dream that we can do this, or maybe we can do better.
When Goa won the Santosh Trophy outright, defeating Punjab for the first time in Madras, and Brahmanand did not consider goal. These two achievements are actually unbelievable. I don't see it getting repeated in modern football.
Sankhwalkar has come up with some memorable performances for his clubs, primarily for Salgaonkar Sports Club, with whom he won almost all the possible trophies in India.
गोयात पहिलीपासूनच फुटबॉला खातीर कितलेशेच तरणाटे हे आपल्या गावातल्यान म्हणजे स्वताच्या बारीक बारीक ग्राउंड आशिल्ले त्याच्यानी प्रॅक्टिस सुरवात केली तेतूंतलो ते एक ब्रह्मानंद आणि ताच्या उपरांत कंटिन्युअसली ताका स्टेट लेवल आनी नॅशनल लेवल खेळपाची संद मेळ्ळी आणि खरोखरूच ताणे ज्या पद्दतीन लीड केले ते पळयत जाल्यार गोंयांतल्या फुटबॉल प्रेमी खातीर गोंयांतल्या खेळाडू खातीर एक तो प्रेरणादायी आशिल्लो आणि निश्चितरित्या ताणे घेतलेले एफर्ट्स आणि कंटिन्युअसली 25 इयर्स फुटबॉल क्षेत्रात खेळप हे इन्स्पायरिंग आशिल्ले आणि इन फ्युचर ऑल्सो हे आमच्या तरणाट्या खातीर खरोखरूच एक ताच्या कडल्यान इन्स्पिरेशन आसा.
See, I think, I have followed Brahmanand for a long time. I think his peak was for about 10 years. And even after he fractured his hand and was out of the game for 1 year, he returned again to the Indian national team.
Brahmanand is synonymous with longevity, and you can see it, and it all comes from hard work, from dedication, from being on the field all the time, whether you're with your team or not.
Not only that, on the days that we didn't have practices, he used to practice on his own. So that is one reason he continued for playing football at top level for almost 20-25 years. Yeah, Brahmanand was exceptionally brilliant throughout.
I feel Papa has completed his 25 years, keeping everything systematically and consistently. So these 3 days, what he has applied in his life, he is very much determined, disciplined, and dedicated to his work. And we are proud of him.
Brahmanand Sankhwalkar is a very legendary personality. जेका भारताचो हायेस्ट असो पुरस्कार पद्मश्री दिवनच सन्मानित केल्लो आसा. जवळ जवळ 25 वर्सां आपले कारकिर्दीची फुटबॉल खेळान घातिल्ली आसात. भारताच्या फुटबॉलाचो कॅप्टन आनी उत्कृश्ट असो गोलकीपर ह्या नात्यान ताणीन नामनाय जोडिल्ले आसात. 2 वेळा संतोष ट्रॉफी ताजो मुख्य भार जो आसा ताणीन आपल्या खांद्याचेर घेतिल्लो आशिल्लो. अशे ह्या महान मनशाक आमी खूब तांचे अभिनंदन करतात आनी देवा लागीं मागता की ताका बरे तरेचें आरोग्य आनी यश प्राप्त करून दिवचें.
If you ask anybody in Goa, which is the footballer that you remember the most, or when you talk about football, who comes to mind? Obviously, the 2 names are Brahmanand and Bruno. But because of the longevity of the career that Brahmanand has had and the number of games that he played for India, he obviously is better remembered.
Brahmanand is very close to my heart. We started our career from Progress High School. We were classmates. We were in NCC together. We have attended camps together. Then we were in Dempe College and I have played in the opposite teams. And I was his fan.
Now, Brahmanand Sankhwalkar took football not only from Goa, but he took to the national level and made India famous.
Sankhwalkar's records are so huge that it is too voluminous to record. He has 70 international caps, only 2 Indians have more. He led Goa to 2 Santosh Trophy triumphs and was declared India's Player of the Decade from 1985 to 1995.
My first game I remember against an Italian side in 1983, the first time I led the country in the Nehru International Gold Cup in Cochin.
Indian, I think matches, 30 or 40 matches he covered, not a matter of joke. Asian Games, pre-Olympic, Asian Cup, and SAP Cup, everything. And Brahmanand is a high ball, side ball, everything he can chases. This is a wonderful goalkeeper both are.
One of the best goalkeeper no India in ASEAN. Even he said very difficult ball. See, 2-3 days back his foot came with hand. He like too good. One of the best in Asia. India number 1.
Brahmanand is fully different. His height 6'2", he can jump, he can spray, he can sensible. Ball is coming from throw, any ball is coming corner, any kind of ball is coming free kick, he is a touch nicely. But he not take risks. He just pump out from there and immediately that is corner. But Brahmanand is very cool.
We had many victories thanks to his fantastic goalkeeping. You know, something that's not very well known is that Brahmanand in 1981 at Patna fractured his hand. And it is a pretty bad fracture because they had to put a plate, etc., etc. Given Brahmanand's perseverance and his love for the game and his discipline, he came back and played for Salgaonkar within 8 months. After having won the Super Cup in Goa and a couple of other tournaments like TFA and another tournament in Kerala, he was called back to the Indian. That's the most admirable thing about Brahmanand, his perseverance. And I think that should be a very good example to many players who, after getting injured, really don't look after themselves, don't do the rehab exercises, and then just fade away in the horizon.
Actually, I played for India 117 times, but I entered the field 70 times. That was as per FIFA.
Brahmanand also inspired the women's team. I have seen one of the best matches that we have the women's team playing at Kampal ground and how we rushed in. That match is still I can recollect, and Maybe Brahmanand was one inspiration for them, where other players also were there.
I was born in an era where football was like in villages. We played in villages, like inter-village was quite famous that time. And we were like the people who travel in tempos, they're playing in the field, they're playing everywhere. So we used to be part and hearing about it. Like Brahmanand sir was like, when we heard, it's like it is unreal. The way people talk about him is like some superhero. And when I saw in front, like I'm like starstruck when I meet him, when I talk to him. It was like complete what respect, tremendous respect. Like it is really like meeting Brahmanand sir, or like it's like dream for anybody.
For one, I have to say that we, I think, grew together, because Brahmanand is kind of, I think, a year younger to me for that matter. So I've been a teenager when he has been a teenager. But the thing is that, the influence came much later because women's football started here much later. But watching him, I was doing it all the time and watching more of the internationals actually where he was playing. And to me, always, there's a particular shot, which he saved, and that remained in my mind for a long time. And it was so much like Lev Yashin, the Russian, who is supposedly, to me, the pick of the world goalkeepers. And Brahmanand here is the pick of Indian goalkeepers. There's no two ways about that.
These are the streets where Brahmanand is to cycle around Panjim during his younger days before he became India's goalkeeping legend. He was the first choice Goa goalkeeper for 17 nationals and the automatic choice for the India team from 1976 till 1987. He rose to become India's captain and was declared the AIFF Player of the Decade. He won laurels abroad as well. During a tour to Zambia with the national team, local newspapers labelled him as a leopard for his superlative performances.
Zambian tour was most memorable one. That they were preparing for the World Cup 78, 77. We played 2 matches, first and the third match with the main national team, and the second match was with the youth, and the experience was combined together to play together. There were 3 penalty kicks on every match. I saved 2. First I was beaten, the second I saved, the third I saved, and on the concluding day, Cendric was, I think, the mayor of that particular town, and they said they're ready to give you their passport for me to play for Zambia. He titled Brahmanand is an asset for the national team, and he has the leopard's heart. The next day the headlines came, leopard saves all India.
He was really a leopard on the, under the bar. Absolutely. The right kind of nickname that has been given to him by whoever.
I haven't seen any goalkeeper who flies. You understand? They may be diving to the right, and I was a goalkeeper too. As I told you, I played in the first division. And when I went for the camp, along with Brahmanand, with Panwell, I saw that I wouldn't get a chance. So I switched over to first division.
Following his career as a player, Brahmanand completed the Asian Football Confederation's C, B and A license exams to qualify as a coach. He was the goalkeeping coach of the Indian team from 1997 to 2005. Little surprise that Sankhwalkar became the first Goan to win the Arjuna Award when the Government of India presented him the highest sporting honour in the country in 1998.
My dad was in Jalandhar and I received a call that he got Arjuna Award. And like a child, I was not very familiar that how prestigious is this award, And I told him on the phone that you got this award. And he was very excited. And when he came down, there was no limit to his happiness. And so the moment where we went to Rashtrapati Bhavan and see him receiving this prestigious award with other dignified sportsmen, that was a great experience for all of us, and to see our dad receiving the award from the president.
See, it's always satisfying when a Goan wins awards. Finally, Brahmanand, his efforts were rewarded and he got the Arjuna Award.
Absolutely. When Brahmanand got the Arjuna Award, I thought he should have got it much earlier also, but it came. And when it comes and it's good. I think he was the first guy, if I'm not mistaken, to get the Arjuna Award, a Goan sports person getting an Arjuna.
I was just beginning my professional journalism career at that time, and to meet Brahmanand in itself was, was a huge thing, because he was the greatest sports personality that we had at that time, and he was so accommodating, he was so friendly, and he was so humble, and he always made you, very, very comfortable. You never felt like you were in the company of a legendary footballer. I remember the time that he won the Arjuna Award, he was really, really bristling with joy. And not just he, Goa were actually celebrating, because this was the first time somebody had won the Arjuna Award. Since then, as we all know, Bruno won it some years later, and Bhakti has won it more recently. To have only 3 people won the Arjuna Award, over so many years, tells you of how special it has been.
In 2021, the Government of India conferred on him India's 4th highest civilian award, the Padma Shri.
सगळ्यात पयली ब्रह्मानंद संखवाळकर हांकां पद्मश्री मेळ्ळो हे आयकूनच जशें सगळ्या गोंयकाराक एक खूब मोठो आनंद जालो. एक आमच्या गोंयकार ह्या लेवला पर्यंत, खेळाडू ह्या लेवला पर्यंत पावलो, आणि प्रत्यक्षात तो जेन्ना तो प्रेसिडेंटाच्या हस्ते घेतालो हे पळोवन खूब खोस भोगली. खरोखरूच एक मनाक उमेद जाली, आणि ताच्या कडल्यान म्हाका दिसता प्रेरणा घेवन खूब मोठ्या पद्दतींतले तरणाटे अशा पद्दतीन खेळा मळावेल्या क्षेत्रात येवपाक शकले, येतात, आणि निश्चित रित्या म्हणजे म्हाका दिसता ताका ते डिजर्व आशिल्ले. गोंयतलो पयलो खेळाडू जाका अर्जून अवॉर्ड मेळ्ळो, आणि ताच्या उपरांत गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ इंडिया ताका ह्या अवॉर्डा खातीरय बी नॉमिनेट केलो, दिलो, हे पळोवन खरोखरूच खूब खोस भोगली.
The fact that he got the Padma Shri is completely something that is so deserving and so well earned by him, it's something that could not have been avoided by anyone. He had to get it, and it's good that he got it.
I think for a couple of decades we have had the best goalkeepers in the country, but nobody has achieved the Padma Shri, and Brahmanand getting it is itself a declaration of how good he was during his time.
The moment we received this news that Dad received the Padma Shri, my phone and my husband's phone are flooded with messages and wishes, and it was like I felt I received the Padma Shri because I was just like, I couldn't sleep that night. I can't explain that feeling,
His wife has been a very strong pillar of support, while his daughters have been his good luck charms.
So I feel Papa is a born traveler. He loves traveling. Apart from, just visiting places, he would like to know more about, certain states, certain cities and their cuisines. So he is very much interested in their food, culture, history. So history is something which he gets fascinated with, and he would like to know more about it. So he will go in detail. So apart from traveling, he also is a very artistic person. He loves art. He loves photography also, and he is very creative. When it comes to aesthetic, suggestions and giving ideas, he is very creative in that way, and he loves photography also. So whenever he travels or sees nature elements like flowers, birds, peacocks, so he will not get distracted. He will just be with his phone and click that object. He has been off the field very creative, and on the field very superlative.
So before I knew my father as a champion, he is my father first, and he's always been a great inspiration for me and my sister from childhood, and he has always supported us, motivated us, and we used to see him doing a lot of yoga, meditation. So it has really helped us to grow in that journey. And then as seeing him in his professional field, it is like a cherry on the cake, because you have a live inspiration in your own house.
His painting can be seen on a building in the beautiful village of Talegaon, on the outskirts of Panjim, and the Goa government has dedicated a lesson in the school textbook on his life and personality, so that this can encourage and motivate children to take up sports.
Brahmanand Sankhwalkar played for 25 years, but is still in the news, even though he's retired for more than 25 years. Football has remained a big part of his life. Early in the morning at breakfast time, he thinks football. But before dinner time, he plays senior citizens football. Brahmanand Sankhwalkar remains one of Goa's greatest sportspersons and a true role model.
Oh, he loves to fire it! What a goal! Oh, I say! A right foot shot and they arrow.
Doordarshan, India's public service broadcaster, presents stories and documentaries from Goa, celebrating legends and legacies from India's beautiful state, where East meets the West, with art and culture at its best.